It was a Thursday, the kind of day where the sun feels like a warm hug and the world seems to slow down just enough to let you breathe. I was sprawled out on our porch, earbuds in, listening to some guy on a podcast explain the art of smoking the perfect brisket, low and slow. He kept saying like it was a life philosophy. The air smelled like lilacs from Mrs. Harper's yard next door, and a lazy swirl of coffee steam rose from my mug. My wife, Leia, sat beside me, legs crossed, nose buried in one of her espionage paperbacks. You know the type: covert drones, hidden bunkers, traitorous envoys. She'd been hooked on those since I met her 12 years ago, along with her weird love for sour candy and a poker face that could bankrupt a pro. Everything was peaceful. The sparrows chirped. The neighborhood hummed with that sleepy suburban vibe. Retirees pruning roses, kids chasing kites. Then, out of nowhere, a golf cart screeched up our driveway like we'd just dodged taxes in a war zone. I yanked out an earbud. "What the hell?" I muttered, squinting as three figures stepped out, all decked in matching navy polos with neighborhood watch crew stitched in red. They looked like they'd raided a discount bin at a security guard convention. There was clipboard Greg, a wiry guy clutching a stack of papers like it was the Constitution. Radio Rick, a twitchy dude with a walkie-talkie plastered with cartoon shark stickers. Real intimidating. And leading the pack, Marissa. Oh, Marissa. Cropped hair shrink-wrapped to her skull, aviators reflecting her own ego, voice dripping with that fake TV cop swagger. She strode onto our lawn like it was D-Day, barking, "Ma'am, we've got a problem here." I almost laughed. Who calls a Thursday morning a problem? Marissa planted herself in front of Leia, hands on hips, and snapped, "You're violating Section 12, Clause C of the Charter. No politically disruptive materials in public view." I blinked. Leia didn't even look up from her book, just flipped a page and sipped her coffee. "It's fiction," she said, calm as a monk. "Spy fiction." "Doesn't matter," Rick piped up, waving his shark-stickered radio like it was evidence. "It encourages espionage. This is a secure community." I snorted. "You're holding a radio with fish stickers, man. What's that encouraging, Shark Week?" Marissa bristled. She hated defiance. I nicknamed her rulebook the Marissa Manifesto, a binder full of fake laws thicker than a kid's game of pretend judge. "It's non-compliant," she huffed, waving a neon yellow form labeled Level 3 Violation. Final warning. Leia didn't budge, just kept reading. I thought it'd end there, another HOA power trip fizzling out. But then Greg piped up, all serious. "Remove her from the porch." I laughed. "What? You sound like a bad improv skit." Except they weren't joking. Greg lunged for Leia's left arm. Rick grabbed her right, and Marissa barked about safety through order. Leia's book hit the deck. One sandal sailed off like a punctured kite, and her heels skidded across the wood. She didn't scream or beg, just shot me this smirk, the same one she gave me years ago when we got lost in Cairo and stumbled into a falafel joint that turned out to be the best meal of my life. It said, "Let them dig their own grave." They dragged her toward the sidewalk, Marissa yammering about community standards. Then Leia pressed her thumb to her ring. Yeah, her ring, and murmured, "Delta Protocol activate." I thought she was quoting her book. But the sparrows went quiet, and I swear the air shifted. Before I could process it, a black SUV screeched up, rattling our mailbox so hard I thought it'd fly off. Tinted glass, silent engine, straight out of a movie. A guy stepped out, dark suit, shades, stance screaming authority. He ignored Marissa's puffed-up chest and walked straight to me. "Sir, I'm Agent Carter. Where's Commander Pierce?" I froze. Commander who? I'd known Leia for over a decade. Her sour candy stash, her killer poker face. But Commander Pierce? Then I glanced at the HOA trio fumbling with her like she was a lawn chair. In their grip," I said, nodding at them. Carter pivoted, his jaw tightening. "They what?" Marissa puffed up even more. "Excuse me, we're conducting a civilian detainment." Carter didn't blink. "This woman's a senior CIA officer with diplomatic immunity, under active recovery status. You just broken federal law. Release her. Now." Rick dropped her like she was electrified. Greg blanched. Marissa stammered something about patriotic duty, But Leia just brushed herself off, strolled back to the porch, and picked up her book. "Told you," she said to me, casual as if she'd just walked the dog. 2 more SUVs rolled in. Neighbors gawked. Some filmed. One lady clutched her necklace and whispered, "Spies." The HOA trio stood there, frozen, as agents swarmed, quiet and lethal. Marissa clutched her clipboard like a shield. Then Carter handed me a phone and dropped a bomb. "There's more, sir. This HOA's tangled in something bigger. Your wife's here on surveillance, not retirement." I stared at Leia, who sighed and bookmarked her novel. I was off-grid, observing, not engaging. They forced my hand. Our sleepy suburb, retirees and lawn nuts, wasn't what it seemed. The HOA was laundering cash, running crypto scams, planting drone birdhouses. Marissa's bored? Clueless pawns in a darker game. Leia nodded at a tech van unfurling its dish. "This Porch spat just went worldwide," she said. My quaint life cracked open like an egg. By dusk, our basement morphed from a gym with a dusty foosball table to a CIA hub, screens, secure comms, a fridge stocked with kombucha and espresso. Leia sat at the helm, fingers flying, a frown hinting at depths beyond Marissa's clipboard crusade. She pulled up a map, our streets dotted in red and blue. "They're not solo," she said. "The HOA's acting like it's got jurisdiction. They're just old folks with loud fonts," I said, still reeling. "Not anymore," she replied, opening a file labeled Operation Dawnwatch. Proof they'd nabbed restricted surveillance tech, funneled fees to offshore accounts. Someone big had slipped it to Marissa as a trial. Our neighborhood a petri dish for digital control. "She's clueless how deep it goes," Leia said, unpacking a makeup bag that unfolded into a spy kit. "Time to dig." She launched a hummingbird drone toward Marissa's house, synced it to AR glasses. It slipped through a window, perched on a shelf of dog statues and tacky quotes. A corkboard sprawled, sticky notes, strings, an HOA command tree straight out of a B-movie. "Operation Lawn Unity," I read. "Mandatory fake grass to conserve water." Leia zoomed on a folder, resident oversight files. My name topped it, defiant. Possible agitator. Track recycling habits. Mrs. Harper was flagged for too many birdhouses, a teen for skateboarding. Marissa had dossiers on half the block, shared with some external network. I reeled. This is insane. Leia stayed up, cross-referencing. Greg wanted tasers. Rick pitched face-scanning cameras. Marissa proposed loyalty pins tied to lawn scores. Our HOA was a mini Stasi, and I'd been clueless. Leia didn't mess around. Next day, she posed as a jogger, scoping Marissa's garage, command central. Inside, screens, flags, a light rig, knockoff granola bars. Marissa briefed Greg and Rick, pointing at threat zones on a whiteboard. Rick radioed about mailbox incidents. A monitor showed a neighbor's backyard, hacked private cams. "That's it," Leia whispered, filing a report with her old agency. "Domestic tech misuse, cyber breach, response escalation approved." "They made this a micro-regime," she said, grinning. "Now, they'll see what happens when fake power picks the wrong fight." She kicked off Operation HOA Reckoning with a faux squirrel, drone-sized, fur-coated, packing a camera, thermals, and bird call speakers. At 4:12 a.m., she sent it from our garage. By 4:20, it sat on Marissa's chimney, catching her belting show tunes in a robe and a follow-the-rules sleep mask, blackmail bait for later. Leia mailed forged letters, fancy paper, Office of Compliance Oversight seal, to Marissa, Greg, and Rick. Greg's warned of overtime fraud, Rick's hinted at illicit recordings, Marissa's cited fund misuse for swamp camo in a swamp-free zone. Morning brought chaos. Marissa and Greg bickered on her lawn, Greg waving his letter, yelling about raccoon cams, Marissa accusing Rick of taping meetings. Leia waved as we passed, unnoticed. She hijacked their alert radios via their own illegal tech, looping odd messages, reverse lullabies. Robotic Unit 3. Audit required. Untraceable, pinging off a neighbor's smart sprinkler. By day 3, Greg muttered, "Command, are we breached?" Marissa strapped on a GoPro, posting freedom updates like wartime dispatches. Leia recruited Frank, an ex-Navy intel guy, and Tina, a data whiz with AI bots. They seeded the Pine Hollow Facebook group with rumors, secret audits, federal probes. Marissa denied it online, but locked forums and held a frantic garage meeting. The squirrel drone streamed it live, Marissa pacing, accusing Rick of leaks, Rick blaming Greg, who claimed Marissa fudged budgets. Cupcakes fell. Rick hit a padlocked door. Marissa's security crumbled. Marissa planned to come back at the Pine Hollow Spring Fest. Tents, cupcakes, unity speeches to gloss over the chaos. She didn't know Leia had rigged it for her fall. By noon, the park glowed, flags, a bounce house, kids painting Obey on rocks. Marissa, in her sash, glad-handed. Rick faked ID checks with a busted scanner. Greg eyed the speaker nervously. Leia's team was set. A face painter, cyber expert, DJ, ex-NSA, grill guy, drone watcher. I manned the bake sale, walkie jammed to block Marissa's alerts, selling scones while the trap closed. Marissa took the stage under a Together We Enforce banner, voice booming. Despite disruptions by those rejecting order, we unite. I tapped my walkie. The screen behind her flickered, then blazed. Her files, dossiers, footage, shady transfers. Names flashed. Fund misuse, illegal surveillance. Gas rose. A cup hit the ground. Shut it off. Marissa shrieked, but the DJ vanished. The video rolled. Her garage rants. We're the law. Residents recoiled. Greg bolted, stopped by the grill guy's tongs. Marissa grabbed the mic. Treason. Set up. As black SUVs rolled in. Carter stepped up. Marissa Vaughn, you're under investigation, surveillance abuse, data theft, fund fraud. She gaped. Rick sobbed. Greg sank. A mom yelled, told you she's unhinged. Claps broke out. Agents hauled them off, the screen still damning. Leia joined me, cool as ever. Perfect timing, I said. Perfect stage, she replied. Music resumed. Kids played. The fog lifted. That night, on our porch, crickets replaced static. I mused. Where'd she get that tech? Not off the shelf. Leia nodded. Higher up. A test, not just us. Her tablet pinged. Another HOA, another city. Morning felt lighter. No banners, no cart, just kids and kites. A vote made me Harmony Hub president. No uniforms, no cameras, cookouts over meetings. Greg brought bread, mumbling regrets. Rick ditched his radios. Marissa's house listed sell quick. She'd fled to Nevada, chasing new rules to bend. Quiet held until a package arrived. Key card note. Phase 2, Nevada. Leia grabbed her gear. Her orbit, she said. She left at dawn. SUV waiting. Note for me. Water plants. Dodge clipboards. A week later, she returned, flash drive in hand. Proof of a network testing HOA control. Retirement hobby, she grinned. We fortified the porch, sensors, gnome cams, and sat coffee in hand, guarding peace. So here's the takeaway, folks. Own your space, question the clipboards, and never underestimate a woman with a spy novel and a smirk. Our porch, it's ours again. And Marissa? She's someone else's problem now.